Hello everyone, and welcome to the showdown between the Warriors of Chaos led by KHOLEK Suneater and the Beastmen, who are going to be led by the Foul Chaos Turkey. So let's jump right into this match, guys, and have some fun. So in the front line, I do have a very heavy core of Chaos Warriors. So the Chaos Warriors I feel like are pretty solid. So against Ungors and relatively low tier troops like Gore Herds, these guys are pretty much just going to smash their faces in. And against Bestigors, they actually trade somewhat effectively. In terms of their stat comparison to Bestigors, let's actually see if my opponent has any. I think he does have some at the back. So Bestigors are 40, 24, 40 with a pretty good charge bonus. So the Chaos Warriors have a little bit better melee defense, but obviously I think they cost like 200 or 300 less. So I definitely feel like they make a pretty good front line against the Beastmen. On top of that, in the flanks, we do have a couple groups of Chaos Marauders. So one group here, then one group on the far side as well. So the reason I put the Chaos Marauders on the far side is that if my opponent has Centaurs with throwing axes or other skirmish units or is trying any sort of funny business, maybe even Centaurs coming in to collapse on your flank, these guys are going to be a very good tool for fending those guys off. So in total, I do have two groups of those. In the back, I brought one group of Marauder Horsemasters who I really like in this matchup. So firstly, they have pretty good combat stats. 26, 26, 28, I think is their charge bonus. Let me see, yeah, with 26 melee attack as well. They have 90 range, so I think they actually outrange Centaurs with throwing axes. I don't know if he actually has any that we can show you guys for reference. But still, I think they're a very, very good choice in counter-skirmishing. And if they have Minotaurs or Giants, well, probably not going to see Giants, but you're going to see Minotaurs and things like that, or summoned Cygors. These guys are a very good tool for taking them out. On top of that, one group of Forsaken. I didn't want to go too heavy duty because Bestigors will do really well against Forsaken. And on top of that, they're very susceptible to heavy cav charge. But I still think having one group is just such an invaluable asset, simply because they have 46 speed and do really well against chaff units. And this is going to be the bread and butter of our army. We have the Mountain God himself, and he's going to be joined by a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth to take out any large threats, Deathcaster with Fated Unit and Spirit Leech, and this is the new unit I've been mixing into this matchup. So right here, you guys can see I've been using the Exalted Hero on the Manticore, which I think is really good here. Fear and Terror, relatively mobile, somewhat durable, but so many people are bringing Malagor and just summoning Cygors, or even against, like, let's say, Morkar the Shadowgate, who's lightly armored. This guy can get in there and just do him raw. Like, he is incredibly good at doing, getting in there and terror routing and just applying a ton of pressure. So he's probably one of my new favorite picks in this matchup, not generally speaking. Some Chaos Hounds on the far side, and I think that's about it. One more group here. So for my opponent's army, this is something I've been seeing. I don't know if someone made it popular in a tournament, but I've been seeing tons of Chaos Spawn armies because Beastmen Chaos Spawn are actually better than traditional Chaos Spawn because they have poison, I think. I don't think the regular Chaos ones do. But I've been seeing Minotaurs with Chaos Spawn and Cygor summoning, so it's definitely a little bit scary. So Spears, Bestigors, looks like the similar formation over here. Spears and Bestigors. Over here, it looks like he had to cut corners. But he's basically going to be using his chaff units, his Ungor Spearmans, and things like that to, hold down my infantry while the heavy-duty Chaos Spawn do most of the damage. So couple of groups of those. He does also have some Bestigors in the back, Minotaurs with great weapons, which is something that you've been seeing against Chaos for quite some time. So I like that. And Malagor the Dark Omen, the Chaos Turkey, is going to be summoning some Cygors. Yeah, it looks like he does have the Brave Scream as well. And that's not it. Over here in the forest, he does have Centaurs with great weapons and Poison Hounds, a very heavy contingent. So I'm glad I didn't try and get Chaos Knights because they would have been overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of this force, plus the Minos with great weapons. So without further ado, guys, let's get the show on the road. So right now, I'm just going to be advancing in 1 second, guys. I'm just going to adjust my microphone in front of me here, and we are good. All right, so my forces are going to be moving forward, just, having to bring the pressure. I did know that he had Malagor, because I heard the summoning sound for the Cygor, and Malagor is just hiding in the trees. It's really funny. Whenever, I played with Malagor in the past, he always just hides in the tree line. He never comes out. So he summons the Cygor. Thankfully, Cygors, are a unit that it's summoned, so it's going to be degenerating here, but he's going to start throwing boulders in right away. So here comes the first boulder volley. Boulder volley. I don't know why my brain just couldn't process that. It was just scrambled there. But anyways, I realized he didn't have any Raiders or Centaurs here, but he did have that big force coming in the back. So I get in there and get a few free volleys, and you can see they do okay damage. These guys, compared to regular Marauder throwing axes, actually have 37 missile damage, so they hit incredibly hard against light armor. So we get a few volleys. Unfortunately, we do have to pull back against these Ungor Spearman herds. It looks like we might get a couple kills on the way out, which is nice. But obviously, we don't want to be wasting ammunition. So realizing I have impunity here, I'm just going to be sitting and just throwing at these very lightly armored targets. Chaos Spawn, as you can see, don't have too much armor on their torsos here. So we're going to be getting in there against their 10 armor, getting some free HP damage. So in the meantime, we're advancing. You can see our Chaos Warriors with great weapons have taken quite a bit of damage. Definitely glad I didn't bring Chosen because the Cygors would have been netting a ton of value here. In the meantime, just going forward with my Chaos Sorcerer with Death, and I was just kind of looking for an opportunity to get a Spirit Leech or a Fate Immune on something of high value here. But he did have most of the forces. I want to Fate Imbuna over here, and this was a bit of a death trap, this like little area right here. I was kind of worried that if I went over, I might get trapped or pinned down. Something might rush out of the forest and jump on my troops. Boulder's still coming in, making pretty good contact right there. It looks like it takes out a Chaos Warrior, so he's gone to join the Chaos Gods. And over here we're getting some skirmishing in, but nothing of great value. So I'm basically just going to pull back the Marauder Horsemen at this point and start using their attacks to whittle down the Minotaurs and the other threats that are actually, actually real here. So yeah, in retrospect, I was like, oh man, I should have brought a couple more of these Marauder Horsemasters. Because I actually think these guys have 95 speed, these guys have 90, so you can kite somewhat effectively. They will catch you, but if you have like halberds or some infantry nearby, you should be okay. So realizing he had a big force over here, I was like trying to push out KHOLEK and my Shaggoth and just like bait him into a fight because I had some Marauders nearby. And infantry trade pretty effectively with great weapons. I also do get a Lord of the Storm in the back here, so I probably should have got on the best scores, but my opponent was paying attention, so he pulls back and only takes 2 casualties there. In the meantime, I figured these are some free kills, so my Shaggoths get in here and are just going to start monster mashing these guys. So we get in there, pretty good stuff going on. We do get a Faded Buna over there on the Centaurs with great weapons. And I'm also just going to be pushing out my Forsaken, some Marauders with the support of KHOLEK. So I figure this is going to be a pretty good engagement. Frontline's going to be a little bit hog wild, so the Chaos Warriors in the front just slamming into these low-tier troops. And the Chaos Spawn are also going to be rushing in. And, even though they don't have the best AP, you can see my my Warriors are taking a ton of damage. So realizing I needed some anti-large here, KHOLEK's going to be coming in, and Dad is back. He's back to clean house, guys. So he's coming in. He's definitely going to be able to kill a lot of these Chaos Spawn with the help of his younger son right here. So they're going to be fighting, going after the Chaos Spawn. And this battle's going to be good. Forsaken really do well against light armor. I have a Deathcaster, I have Marauders, I have Poison Hounds. And you can see immediately the charge of those Forsaken just buckles these Centaurs. So the Forsaken just proving their worth to the Chaos Gods here, getting in there and doing a ton of damage to this group of Centaurs right here. Granted, there was a Faded Buna already cast, but their shock damage was able to clean that up. In the middle, Chaos Warriors are cleaning up these Ungor Spear herds. And trust me, guys, the Ungor Spears didn't do this much damage to the Chaos Warriors. That was actually the Cygor throwing boulders at them the whole game. But right here, the Exalted Hero, I've just been jumping in with him, attacking random targets. So I get in there, I do some free damage to the Cygor, which means he's going to degenerate that much faster. And then I just pull back, look for another target, and we're good to go. And down goes the Cygor. So over here, this side of the battlefield's going very well. My Marauders and Poison Hounds were able to overwhelm those Ungor Spearmen herds. And my Chaos Warriors are doing surprisingly well with the support of these Master Horsemen in the back, who are just kind of throwing in on those Chaos Spawn. So my opponent does have a lot of troops on auxiliary. You can see he's using his Minos to just chase my Exalted Hero, which is fine. Totally don't mind that. I'm just, getting in there, getting some free damage, hitting and running, a little bit of Muhammad Ali action. It's definitely going pretty good. Over on the far side, though, this was the big kind of crushing victory in the battle so far. You can see my Forsaken Marauders were able to just completely punish the Centaur force. They're very, very tattered. From here, I should be able to collapse on the main force. So it looks like a Faded Buna is going to be going down for my Deathcaster on these Bestigors, definitely doing some heavy damage. And of course, KHOLEK here is in the right neighborhood, just whooping on these guys. You can see a nice tail whip going down right there. And the Chaos Spawn are force pathing in. You can see my opponent just clicking, all of his forces right there to go after KHOLEK. But I still do have Chaos Warriors and some infantry support. Not for long, though. Looks like there's only 20 models, and they will be buckling. But thankfully, I do have a lot of reinforcements coming. Chaos Marauders doing a very good job. Like I said, just look at the combat stats. These guys lost their frenzy, so they're 22, 20, 34 compared to 34, 28, 28. So the Marauders, obviously with a massive numbers advantage as well, are going to trade very effectively against great weapon, Centaurs. Not so good with the Sword and Shield variant, but still doing a very good job over there. Lord of the Storm going down, roasting a bunch of these foul beasts. Chaos Spawn here down to 5 models. On this side of the battlefield, he did summon a Cygor. Definitely a good, I would say a good call from my opponent. Instead of summoning a Cygor away from the troops, he's using it as a bit of a giant right now, just having it fight in the main line, so I can't pick it off with my Exalted Hero. And you can see my Marauders and my Chaos Warriors are going to be fleeing from this particular battle. A lot of spooky, scary Beastmen. You have Minotaurs with great weapons, you have a Cygor right here, so there's just all kinds of madness. But over here it's going a little bit better. My Dragon Ogre Shaggoth doing a very good job against these Chaos Spawn, just kind of working them down with the support of some of these Chaos Warriors, and I think the Forsaken finally made it over here. But I have a lot of stopping power left. I still have these 2 Shaggoths, and the bounce power is somewhat even, but once his Cygor goes, my opponent's going to be taking a pretty substantial hit to his bounce of power here. And I have this Exalted Hero on a Manticore, so most of the troops my opponent has here are immune to terror. Actually, I don't think Minotaurs are, because they only cause fear, so I know they are immune to psychology. Okay. So yeah, we're not going to get too much value out of the terror routing. It could get some of these Spearmen off, but you can see my opponent is going to be pouring in with some of the Centaurs here. But the Shaggoths are definitely in the right neighborhood for them, just pounding out a lot of these Beastmen. There's actually some Chaos Marauders in here who are providing some decent buffering to my big characters, making sure they don't get poked by those pointy sticks. So in the meantime, some of my Marauder Horsemen getting in there and fighting. Their combat stats without Frenzy on these Centaurs is actually better. 27, 27, 26 to 20 melee defense on these guys. So a very good situation. A lot of the Chaos Forces are going to be rallying here. Bounce power actually going back towards the middle. So the battle's starting to go in my opponent's favor a little bit as his spears do kind of... look at that shimmy right there. Oh my god. That is so haggard. Oh god. But they do pin down my Shaggoth, who I wanted to get on some better targets. I was like, he has good AP. I need to put it to use. on these very healthy Best of War herds over here. And in the meantime, KHOLEK and company and this Exalted Hero are just going to be smashing on the Chaos Turkey right here. So you can see the Exalted Hero and KHOLEK getting pretty good damage. You just see some wings flying amidst that cloud right there of blood. But Malagor's getting a little bit low. I get some Chaos Poison Hounds coming back in. The Poison going to be very useful in the fourth quarter here at lowering down these Minotaurs. And you can see KHOLEK's big ol' hammer is going to be getting in there and just taking these guys to Pound Town. So I think the Minotaurs might start to buckle here. They're shaken. They have 9 models. Their HP is getting a little bit low. And I was like, okay, I need to deal with the Minotaurs and the armor. So the 2 Shaggists are going to go here. And a lot of people will throw games by just putting everything they have on like a Lord on foot. And Lords on foot sometimes get knocked down instead of actually taking the damage. So I just decided to get my Exalted Hero, just have him go monster mode and hunt Malagor, and then finish off the rest of the troops with my Shaggists. So now the bounce power is coming in my favor. You can see the Beastmen forces are starting to buckle. Malagor's going down, and from there it's probably just going to be a chain reaction of routing for the Minotaurs and whatever is left. I think there was some Chaos Spawn, but that's going to be all she wrote for the Beastmen. So let's go ahead and take a look at the breakdown and see what's going on. So I really like the Exalted Hero. That I felt like I had this constant pressure that could really just address a multitude of needs on the map. And KHOLEK, obviously an MVP with his Shaggoth buddy. The Marauder Horsemaster is great counter-skirmishing, great at poking down the Cygors. I would even consider bringing 2 if I have some Poison Warhound support, and I can always peel my Forsaken and Marauders to really help out in that situation. So I definitely had quite a bit of fun with this comp and look forward to trying it again. And for my opponent, my son Herbert Walker, who I believe is a Twitch streamer, so there will absolutely be a link to his Twitch in the comment section below. But I liked his army. It was cool. I've been seeing that a lot with the Chaos Spawn. It's either Chaos Spawn or Minotaurs, but kind of brought like the nastiest of both worlds. Getting the Cygor summoning with Malagor. Although I don't think he brought a natural one. I think bringing a single natural Cygor might have been good if that was the direction. But again, probably just an experimental build. But it was definitely cool seeing it in action. I really like Centaurs with throwing axes. I feel like they're one of the best answers that the Beastmen have to Shaggoths. But still, he had minus with Grey Uppins and Cygors and things like that. So definitely had some answers there. So very well played to my opponent, my son Herbert Walker. Look forward to running into again on ladder. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this Chaos Showdown. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.